on to our speaker. One of the things that we want to do is give you some practical stuff to share, people who are actually doing the work. And Uche is doing the work. He has some publications, he's got an amazing website. If you Google him and you Google AI, you're gonna see a lot. You talk about sneaker game, he's that guy too. So he's done a lot of things, and it's practical. He works in the DOE, works in District 7 as a principal, middle school principal, correct?
Yes.
And so when Teresa was thinking about who to reach out with, she said, can you do something on AI? I think I was late in my response to her. So she found actually a better person to do something on AI. And so I think you're going to be excited for a treat. Please just go with his flow. And at the end, we'll offer him some resonance. So, but we want him to get his full hour with you guys, okay? So bear with us. Thank you. Uche?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So my name is Uche Njoku, and I'm here with my brother and my partner in crime, my academic dean at MS224, Barrington Henry. We're going to do this a little different. You know, you guys have had a long weekend, and we don't want this to just be us, you know, just talking at you. So we're going to do proper introductions here with our other assistant who's here with us. Hello.
Hey, how's it going? Everything smooth so far?
Yes, I would like for you to introduce myself and Mr. Henry to the audience.
All right, here's your polished intro again. Good morning, everyone. Today, you're about to hear from two trailblazing leaders in education. First, we have Uche Njoku, Ed. He's a nationally recognized school turnaround principal, currently leading exploration and discovery in the South Bronx. A Marine Corps veteran, Columbia alum, and author of AI-Enhanced Leadership, Uche brings bold, equity-driven leadership and a passion for reimagining what schools can be in an AI-powered world. Joining him is Barrington Henry, the academic dean for STEAM at the same school. Mr. Henry leads the charge in integrating science, tech, engineering, arts, and math in ways that are rigorous, relevant, and exciting. He's also the author of the foreword in Uche's book and a driving force behind their shared vision of transformative learning. Together, these two are reshaping what's possible for students and educators alike.
I'm a little nervous. Any advice?
For sure. That nervous energy just means you care. Flip it into focus. Look at one friendly face in the crowd. Talk to them like you're having a conversation. Take a slow breath before you speak. And remember, you're not performing. You're sharing your truth. You've done this work. You've lived it. They came to learn from you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's AI. So now, I'm going to tell you this right now. This was not pre-programmed and you know, AI say this. I asked it a question, you know, and it responded accordingly. So let's get to the presentation. So today we're going to be presenting, wrapped around this book, AI Enhanced Leadership, Prototyping the Future for Schools and Communities. And first thing I want to do is make sure that I do a temperature check in the room, because I know for a fact, because I've done several talks over the past year around AI, and we have those who are like, oh, absolutely not, it's cheating, I don't want to be around it. Then we have those who are like, oh my God, I got my Google glasses, I have mine on all the time. Sometimes kids walk into my office, I have my Apple Vision Pro on. I'm on the extreme side, right? Then you have those who are lying. I don't ever use it, you know? You know how I know you use it? When I get the email, it says, how does it always start? You know?
Finds you out. There you go.
Oh, those dashes where it should be a comma?
Yep.
Come on now, we're all using it. The question is this: why are we using it? To what ends? But if we're resistant, why are we being resistant? So, today's flow, okay? Next 30, 45, not here an hour.
It's 45.
Okay. And you said an hour. Okay. So So 45, this is a conversation to get you thinking about this. It is such a vast topic. So if you want to say, how do we do this, how do we do that, well, we would need more than an hour. But right now, the goal here today is to just create a transformative space for you to get closer to a space of understanding why this is very important. Big ideas, we got to become AI ready. You know, what that looks like for your district or for your schools. And of course, we're going to create enough of a space for a few interactions back and forth Q&A. And again, the takeaway is tomorrow Monday, if you're not there, you start to get there. Okay? So Mr. Henry.
Before we talk innovation, let's talk truth. The truth teller. Most educational technology isn't transformative. It's digitized worksheets where students deserve more than digitized versions of outdated approaches. The disruptor. What if students designed your tech plan? They demand voice, agency, and AI tools that prepare them for their future, not our past, less blocking, more building. The futurists. That's us. Moving from the Flintstones to the Jetsons require AI integration in every learning environment. Smart tools create learning experiences that are personalized, adaptive, and future-ready.
So the quote. Oh, okay.
Not ready yet. So let's go to the bottom. I have a quote that I'm going to throw in, or a few quotes that I'm going to throw in. Innovation starts with truth. Let's lead forward, not look back. Now, the first quote I want to share with you is from John Dewey. He said, if we teach today the way we taught yesterday, we rob them of tomorrow. And I often say this.
Say that again.
I'm sorry. If we
Please.
teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob them of tomorrow, and them being our children. And I always say this to Uche. Don't think the kids are the problem. We are. This technology is here. We don't embrace it. And I'll share something with you that happened very recently. New York City Public School went remote on March 23rd, 2020. At that time, everybody was scrambling just on Google Classroom. Now that's very profound because Google Classroom has been out 9 years prior to. And 9 years later, we were scrambling. Why? Because we did not embrace this technology. If we don't embrace AI, because AI is not coming, it is here.
It
is here in real time, and it's moving like a bullet train. So if we don't embrace it, we will be left behind.
So, in this room, I know for a fact, we have avoiders, we have resistors, skeptics, and embracers. Our avoiders are the ones who are like, nope, no, please, central office, block any AI website or app, in my school. They're cheating with it. Then we have the resistors who are like, so use AI? Well, that's kind of cool, but you know what? No, I have my doctorates. I don't need AI. Actually, I had somebody who said that to me. It says, I'm too smart to be using that. Okay. Then you have the skeptics who are not sure. They're interested. They want to engage in it, but they're like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Then you have those who are just like, I'm all in. I have the AI glasses, my series in my car, and like everything is happening, right? Question now is, where do you stand? So when I say everybody stand up, where do you stand? If you are an avoider, and listen, we're not trying to call you out, we're not shaming you. If you're an avoider, move to the back of the room.
And be truthful.
Be truthful. If you're an avoider,
just step to the
If
back.
you're an avoider, you're like, nope. Wow, that's amazing.
Yep.
Resistor. If you're a resistor, move to the back of the room. And it says, I prefer what I know. That's amazing. skeptic. You gotta be skeptics in here. Move to the back of the room. If you're a skeptic,
In between.
Sounds like a skeptic.
sound like a skeptic.
Yeah, there you go.
And if you are an embracer, come to the front of the room.
I already made me the superhero down in the class. So
I believe you. I believe you.
Yes,
I got an honest question.
yes.
A very honest question. I newly embraced within the last 60 to 90 days. Where should I stay?
Welcome, brother. Come on. Welcome.
I'm a new confident.
You have a subscription? Come on then. If you have a subscription, you're an embracer.
So this is our goal.
Of course. You have a subscription, you're an embracer.
This is our goal. Our goal is to get y'all on this side by the end, right? In the middle?
So that's why I'm skeptical. I'm gonna embrace her.
We're gonna get that group over here.
Okay, so let's do this. There's shades of gray, right?
Yeah.
So our goal is to get you more on this side, you know? Okay, and the thing is, it might not happen, but the goal today is to plant seeds that you're like, okay, I see this, you know? Yes, ma'am.
Disclaimer. I'm not skeptic. The people around me are skeptic.
Which makes you skeptic.
No, it doesn't.
You know, that's a good point.
AI in order to be able to feel comfortable using it. I was an avoider because I was so nervous about it, but
Okay.
I'm not nowhere near there.
Okay,
But I'm a skeptic because I still need to learn more about it, how to use it, how is it relevant to me. So I don't embrace everything about it because I need
We're
to
gonna
know
get into that.
about Siri and Alexa. Every time I talk, are you listening? And well, that's where I become a skeptic. Are you in my business all the time? How do I navigate? How do I work with this person? Because it's becoming a person.
and you know, that's a good point because the thing is, this is very complex because now we start talking.
Wow, we lost one.
The LRG will get you back. So let me frame it this way. So okay, listen. Find your gray space. Yes.
If there's any degree of skepticism, right? Yeah. I'm willing to embrace. But if there's any degree of skepticism, you belong here.
This should be over there. Okay. So all right. So let me say this. Let me frame it. So I'm going to say this, and then we'll start with the presentation. So our focus in today's conversation is about what's happening in our school building, okay, in our school districts, and what needs to happen so that our children do not get left behind. Okay. Again. Okay. But now what you're saying is valid. So my ex-wife she works in ad tech. So what she does, have you ever had a conversation? Literally have a conversation. Yo, the new sneakers is coming out. Yo, you gonna get them? Yo, the bread's yesterday. Then you pick up your phone and Facebook. Your phone was not even turned on. And you're like, bread?
Yeah.
It's always on. So there is this space of this invasive nature of technology that exists because we create, and I'll say human beings, we created that. Okay? Because it is an economy and it's about financial gain for someone.
Read when you downloaded the app.
Yes.
Yes.
But we don't read it. Of course, we don't ever read it. So,
Yeah.
but however, how do we change that if we are not part of the conversation? Okay, because the reality is this. Our children need to understand this technology, whether it's AI, whether it's hardware, software, whatever it is, so they could be part of managing that space. Right now, we're just consumers. Okay, we don't create much of anything in these spaces. So, valid point. But now, how do we change that? It starts in our classrooms. Right? So, everybody back to the seats.
I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that.
Now we know
Yeah.
they're trying to put a top on,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
All right.
Give me
So
one second.
story time.
One second.
Go ahead.
I just want to say this just for, the skeptics. One of the reasons why we are so skeptic and resistant to AI is because the people behind the scenes, they don't look like us. And that's the narrative that we are trying to change. And I shared this with Uche recently.
Yes.
If you should Google, just go on your phone regularly and Google hand and click images, then you'll realize what I'm talking about. The images that are coming up are not, it's very light. It's because the people behind the scene that are coding and doing these things, they don't look like us because we're not a part of the conversation. And we have to change that narrative. If we don't change that narrative, it's just a perpetuated cycle.
And if you notice, how many people here use ChatGPT?
Yeah.
So what are the dialogues called? Conversations. Okay, those conversations feed into it and it learns you.
Yeah.
The thing is, if we're not in that space, guess what? It doesn't learn us. It doesn't learn how you speak, how you think. It doesn't learn anything about your culture. It just takes the understanding of the dominant culture in that space. So we have to be part of the conversation. So quick story time. So the school I'm at right now, MS224, Exploration and Discovery, I took it over May 1st, 2023. So just a few days past my second anniversary. I'm not a new principal. I'm a veteran principal. This is my third school. I'm a turnaround principal. So when I took over the school, Dr. Padilla had called me and said, listen, I have a school for you. I was like, tell me more. He was like, it's my lowest performance middle school. I was like, that's District 7, it's South Bronx. I want it. I'll tell you why I wanted that school. Because when I was a New York City teaching fellow, and going through the Teachers Fellows Program, we read the book Savage Inequalities, Jonathan Kozel. And one of the spaces he spoke about in depth was the Bronx. The Bronx was burning. So I thought to myself, I'm a turnaround principal. I've done the work. My brother right here, Shamari Keo, we worked together. He was my assistant principal at John Jay, and now he's a product principal of John Jay. So we do that work. And I thought to myself, if we could turn around the lowest performing middle school in District 7, bottom 100 in New York City, that is another nail against the narrative that our kids cannot do it. So now, my third day of the school, this young lady in 6th grade cursed me out. When I say she cursed me out, I had to step outside of myself. I'm like, bro, you gonna let her do that to you? And I'm gonna talk. She talked about my mama. She talked about everything that she threw it in there. Black African. I was like, whoa. Okay. And it's funny because she was so angry because I came into a space, and I'm one of those people, when I come in, we gonna start working. And one of the things, this is the middle school. I have my young ladies in the school, bellies out, short shorts. And I'm thinking, don't we have a uniform here? So day 3, I said, listen, if you're not in uniform, we're not going outside to the yard. It's simple. You have your lunch, you can be right inside, but we have to get uniform. That's why she cursed me out. And she ran out into the yard and everything else. And so what do you think she was? Was she an embracer, a skeptic, a resistor, or an avoider? Okay. So she was in this space, right? Resistor, avoider. And I'll tell you this, she was avoiding. It took me almost a year to get her to be what she is today. And before Mr. Henry takes on the slide, that's the young lady right there. She is one of our top students. She's the host of the Best Middle School podcast. We have a podcast in the school. She's interviewed Dr. Misha Porter. She's about to go to high school. She is, when I say she's excellence personified in every way possible, but she went from one space to another because of the space we created for her and her classmates around technology and giving them a voice. At that school, we futurized everything.
Futurize everything. If we cling today, and this is, just rewording the quote by John Dewey, if we cling to yesterday's method, we rob students of tomorrow's opportunities. 100% student potential waiting to be unlocked. Time to waste? None. Again, we are behind, my opinion, way behind. Possibilities is endless. And as we go through this presentation, you're going to hear me speak a lot and give personal references. My first experience with anything AI in schools was 6 years ago. 6 years ago in school in Westchester. And I was like, okay, what is this? Being an educator in the Bronx, I started asking questions, to principals, and like they're looking at me like, huh? What are you saying? Like, what are you saying? And in my mind, in Westchester, the kids are already fully immersed. And I'm asking leaders in the largest school district in the nation, and they have no clue what I'm asking them. Profound. 21st century versus futurity. And you'll hear Njoku ask this question, what do we mean 21st century really? And I'm going to reach out to the one and only Dr. LRG because, we had a conversation earlier. She's like, I'm sorry. Somebody coined this term and we don't really know what it means, honestly. And she was spot on with that. So 21st century focus, adapts technology to current systems, makes incremental changes to existing frameworks, digitizes traditional learning, adds tech as supplemental tools, maintain familiar structures. Futurist approach.
Guys, what does that look like? I have laptops at my school. I have laptops at my school. All the worksheets are in Google Classroom. Okay. What else do we say in our schools that we have smart boards in the classroom? That is not solving the problem.
No.
Okay. It looks good. It's very cosmetic. It's dressing it up. So now, are we going to move into 22nd century skills, 23rd century skills? Or are we going to talk about
futurist approach? Reimagines education entirely, creates systems built around emerging technologies. AI becomes the learning backbone. Student-centered personalization. Prepares for jobs yet to exist. And let me go back to this one, student-centered personalization. I have this theory in my head, and I'm sorry, I'm very ignorant to this space. I may not have the experience you guys have, but I think, my humble opinion, every child should have an IEP. And let me put a caveat around that. IEP, oh, okay, nice. IEP, not in the sense of a deficit, but IEP in the sense of, okay, what are your strengths? What are your needs? I am going to tailor your education plan specific to you. That's it. My opinion, but that's probably a story or a conversation for another day. Okay. The gap widens daily. Every moment spent adapting old models means urban students fall further behind. Technology accelerates inequities. First movers gain compounding advantages. Innovation waits for no one. I'm going to say something again. The president of Harvard in 1994, he said the half-life of humanities is 10 years. He said the half-life of math and science is 4 years. He said this in 1994. Think about how many years ago that was. The information is going a mile a minute. We have to catch up, and the onus is on us. Okay. Clock is ticking. 85% of 2030 jobs don't exist yet. And this is by Dell.
Think about that. We're talking about 5 years from now.
85%. I have a 6-year-old daughter. She goes to Riverdale Country. So I had a conversation with the dean there about this, what do jobs look like? And I asked you this question. And show your hands if you truly believe this. In 2025, you're sitting here now. Is there anybody in this audience that can say to me that being an influencer would be a career and a job?
Could you speak a little
Louder,
I'm sorry.
louder.
Okay, gotcha. Thought I had a big mouth, I apologize. Okay, so 2025. Is there anybody sitting in this room that can say yes? I could imagine being an influencer was a job.
Oh, you could imagine.
Yeah,
No, I couldn't have believed that before.
before. But now it is a thing. It is a reality. It
On
is,
most transitions plans, that's what they're preaching for. That's right.
Yep.
there you go. Yep. Only 15% of schools AI ready. Brookings Institution findings, 15%. And it's like only pockets of spaces. 5 times equity gap in AI access. Digital equity research to 2023. So now, I'm not sure if you guys saw this. In China, come 2025, September 1st, starting at kindergarten, AI technology in school is mandatory because they put out an article saying by 2030, China will be that leading force in AI. And how are they planning on doing it? Mandating AI technology in schools starting at kindergarten.
And why? Why are they doing that?
Okay.
Because their goal is to be the leader. I got a big voice, I was in the Marines. Their goal is to be the global leader in technology. Okay? And then what did Trump do?
Signed an AI executive
Yep.
order for education, but no one's talking about it.
And
No one's talking about it.
nobody.
But I'll tell you this though, no one's talking about it, but those who are in the know are paying attention and they're making moves.
Yep.
Why are we not making moves?
Yep.
You know, when it's funny, because when that happened, all my AI folks were texting me. Did you see this? Did you see this? But all my principal friends and colleagues, no one. If anything, they're like, oh, that's Trump again. I'm like, no, pay attention to what's happening around the world. Okay, we're in a state of emergency. In 5 years, the prediction is 85% of the jobs, they don't even exist yet. So in 5 years, this is kind of scary. Let's think about it now. I had a very low level AI introduce us. What does the future look like if you're doing presentations?
You don't even think.
Right.
Yep.
No, but it's crazy. Okay. I'm not here. I'm hollering.
No, last time I went to the Javits car show, they had one of the exhibits was an AI woman standing up there doing the whole thing on the screen.
We have to embrace the space because again, when we talk about equity, okay, when we talk about, I'm going to talk about justice. I'll say this, and some of us in this room could probably relate to this. We're both immigrants.
Facts.
I was born in a dirt road in Nigeria. There is no reason imaginable that I can even justify beyond ancestors and spirit that I'm even here. Staying in this room. And with that being said, I asked myself, I'm a father as well. Our daughters are the same age, 6. And I have a son who's 5. And I asked myself, how do I ask them, what do you want to do when you grow up? Because it doesn't even exist yet. Like literally. So again, keep this in mind as a skeptic. Okay, what are we doing if we're not pushing the envelope and making sure that our kids are getting what they need to go into the future and not just survive, but actually conquer?
This is interactive, right?
Yes.
So I'm always looking for what's missing. So can you just go back to the previous one?
Oh, sure.
When you're saying 85% of the jobs don't exist, the big piece of that that's missing is how many of the jobs that do exist now will no longer.
Go ahead.
And to be honest, if we're gonna be very honest, okay. And to be honest, we don't know. We actually don't.
Oh, it was a bit.
But I know, but I'm gonna piggyback off of that. But what we do know is if we're actively engaged in those conversations, then the narrative can be very different.
That's true. I don't think there's gonna be 85% more jobs. I think the leader is going to move.
Move, right. They're gonna move it.
As we move to the 85%, everything down here is going to
Yep.
be obsolete.
We just need to be in the room at these tables when these conversations are being had and not be hands off.
So what? You can go on to one of the things. I was at a friend's house yesterday, and I was watching his son on. He was online playing Call of Duty or something, and we had a conversation. My son, who's 5 years old, blows my mind. Who grabbed that controller, and he's just.
Yeah.
And I'm watching his eyes and his brain. He's just moving, and I'm just like, "You're 5. At 5, listen. I was a nice little kid. I was still eating my boogers. I was like, I didn't know what was going on. And this kid is just in this space.
True.
And this is the thing. Think about this. If we figure this out and have our kids engaged in these spaces, they will be the ones that define the jobs. Because again, I mean, I don't know about y'all. I look young, but I'm an old head. And the fact of the matter is, I know what my limitations are. Okay, there are things that our kids can do right now in these spaces that blows our minds, and we're thinking, oh, no, you're spending too much time in that space. But while we can sit right next to them and say, tell me, what am I seeing here? You know, but again, it's been said, these jobs are going to be created by the users right now. They're the ones who are going to figure out like, wow, this is what we can do with this. You know, so again, we have to make sure that we keep that in mind. And so real quick, things to think about. What do urban districts stand to lose? The widening achievement gap. Okay. We were making incremental changes and kind of shrinking it, but now it's about to blow up. Okay. Underprepared graduates. I'm a principal, and I know I should not say this, but if we just lock ourselves to just the core content areas, we're doing our kids an injustice. How are we making sure that what our kids are doing are actually relevant to what's happening around the world right now? So again, how are we ensuring that what we're doing in our classrooms is relevant to what's happening around the world? Okay. We cannot just sit there and say, okay, as long as the scores are going up, okay, yeah, that's wonderful, but are we actually preparing them?
Yep.
You know, and I'll give it a quick example. So at our school, MS224, and he's going to touch base on this, and I'm kind of like moving a little quick here. So I remember last year he said to me, we had this conversation all the time. He said, "Yo, I'm going to do an AI lesson with the math teachers." Cool. What are you going to do? He's like, "We're going something Socratic seminars, reverse engineering math problems. I'm going to figure it out." I'm like, all right, let's go. I walked into a classroom, and he's going to elaborate more on this. What blew my mind, I saw kids who used AI to reverse engineer a math problem they had never seen before. AI said, this is how you do it, here are the steps, and they worked in groups and had a little Socratic seminar and figured it out themselves. And I was like, yo, we're about to lose our jobs. No, we're not going to lose our jobs. We're going to transform into something different. You know, we're going to become facilitators. We're going to become guides. And the kids are going to do their own authentic learning in these spaces. And again, this is last year when the conversation was very, very heavy and steep on, is this cheating? But it isn't. It isn't. It's a powerful tool, but our job is to understand it enough, or at least, if we don't understand it, get people in our schools and our systems who understand it, that can lead that work in making sure that we create that equity space to be able to support our students. Then, of course, the brain drain is going to happen because our customers, our students, and our families are realizing, at least those who want to know and realize, wait a minute, we need more for our kids. And if we can't provide it in our schools and our districts, what are they going to do? Go somewhere else. They're going to find those spaces where, wait a minute, this school is doing this. I can tell you right now, our many schools around, at least in New York City and around the state, we're struggling with enrollment. But one of the things that's interesting about our school is parents are coming in and they're saying, wait a minute, you're doing what? You're talking about AI? And parents are asking, so how are you using AI in the classroom? I don't know nothing about AI, but I know it's important. And we're showing them. we're having families who are switching the schools they're committed to come to us, but they have a hope that the kids are going to get something that they won't be able to get somewhere else. So we have to really keep that in mind. The brain drain is going to happen, and those schools that are in the forefront of this conversation are going to win. This is a slide I was asked by one of my mentors to throw in here. So I was sharing with him this presentation, and he said, "Can I ask you a question? What happens if we don't move on this? What is our community going to look like 10 years from now?" And I was like, "The same." He's like, what does our community look like from 10 years ago? The same.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something, I mean, it's a scary thing. There are blocks, at least in New York City, that have not changed in 20 years, 30 years, still the same. Maybe there might be some new stores, some weed shops, but outside of that, it's practically the same. But you go to other parts of the city and you're like, whoa. I was in Williamsburg and I was in Brooklyn, and I was like, I've been here in a while. This is different. Okay? But again, we have to also understand the implications of if we don't train our children differently, if we don't change the way we educate our kids in preparation for the future, we're asking for the same. And sadly enough, there'll probably be another group of people sitting here 20 years from now having the same conversation. Yeah. Mr. Henry?
The future.
Yeah. You hold on to this, bro.
Okay. A future-proof blueprint. Personalized learning, adaptive pathways for every student. Smart resource allocation, predictive analytics, and end-to-end waste. AI as co-teacher, educators elevated to mentorship roles. So I'm going to speak on a few things, but first I'm going to ask you guys this. Have you guys ever read the book by Tony Wagner, The Global Achievement Gap? The Global Achievement Gap. I think every educator should actually take a look at that book, The Global Achievement Gap. So Tony Wagner says that technology has transformed every industry on the planet except education, because we don't embrace it. You guys should take a look at it. Personalized learning platforms. Going back to what I spoke about earlier with IEPs. We all have different needs. We all learn in different ways. We talk about being culturally responsive, all these different things. We need to embrace the technology. We need to embrace AI, because with AI, we are going to act as facilitators. It's going to make our life so much easier. I can go on a pathway and say, okay, you know what? I am not strong here, and Njoku is strong here, and you are strong here. And this AI is going to give you 3 different pathways to get to the end goal. But again, 1, we don't know it exists. 2, we're not embracing it because, hey, listen, this is not the way I learn. So you know what? I learned by just memorizing this timetable, like 2 times 2, 2, 3 times 3, and I got it. So you can do the same. It's not the same. We are dealing with a different breed of children, which requires something very different. AI as co-teachers. So I love this one. Think about students are in your building about 6 hours a day, right? But it's 24 hours in a day. So what happens when that child needs help, but they're not standing in front of a teacher? But mommy's at work, and my sibling don't understand. But if I have access to AI tools, understand how to use it, then that can be a conversation, just the way AI introduced us. It can also, it should be a learning tool as well, where AI is, hey, listen, I'm going to walk you through this problem. I'm going to do this with you. I'm going to explain this with you. I have platforms in our school that there's an AI called Yoki, where you get a problem wrong, Yoki's going to stop, okay? you did this, you should have done this, and you go back. You did this, you could have done this. And Uche will even provide videos for you, video tutorials to help you with that misconception that you have right there in time. And you keep on and you keep on, you keep on, you keep on, you keep on. Next.
So one of the things, so that's from the, let's really make sure I have the right slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So before I move from this, so this is to my administrators, my principals. So now, I don't know about y'all, the bane of my existence, observations. Okay. So whether it's the principal performance observation or the informal or formal observation of teachers. So in New York City, formal observation, you have 15 days to get to the teacher, which is crazy. Because after let's be honest, after a week, I don't remember what I saw. And not only that, if there's something wrong there, and depending on my ability to get to you, you've been doing this for another week with the kids. A formal is 45 days. Okay. It's 45 days. So again, here's a tool that I was introduced to earlier in the school year. Observe that AI. So now, I've had this conversation, people saying, well, it's not, check this out. The most important thing for me when I walk into a classroom is my low interest notes. I walk in there, I just type in everything I'm seeing. You know, everything, I can focus on that. After I'm done, it timestamps everything I entered. Teacher did this, student did this, student walked out, this happened, all that stuff is in there. After I'm done, generate. New York City, we use Danielson. It'll give me a report in alignment with Danielson. I've been doing this a long time, and long enough to understand when I see something that's nonsense, and I see something that makes me go, oh snap. Wait a minute, oh wow, it's aligned. Oh wait a minute, you know what, let me make these adjustments. The great thing about it now is I walk into a classroom, you see me go in a classroom, and I'll walk out, go to my office, and print, and teacher, here, let's sit down and talk about this. Same day. Same day. Impact, immediate, versus, Mr. Njoku, you observed me last week. When am I gonna get that report? I'm gonna try to get to you as soon as possible. But there's a million things happening. So this is a tool that I wanted to share that has changed the way I'm able to support my teachers. Yes. So it's observe that AI. Okay, we have okay. Actually, we have 10 minutes, so
Yeah.
So right here, actually let me go one more. All right. So this quote right here is very powerful. Only those who risk are free. And for a lot of us, this feels very risky, you know, because again, it's a brave new world we're in. You know, there are definitely those dangers, those blind spots, you know. But I remember being in high school, and remember the conversation on whether or not calculators was cheating. I remember that. Calculators. Now they're mandated. I spend about $5,000 every year buying new calculators. They're like mandated, but once upon a time, there was a deep conversation about that. The internet. Remember when kids used to use the proxies to kind of bypass security walls in the schools? Now it's pretty much wide open now. Okay, so the thing is this: in all those times, while in our communities we were struggling and having these arguments, other communities were moving forward. What did we lose out on? And this one here is bigger than those two spaces, because this is global changing. So and one of the things that I'm asking you to do is shift your mindset into being a futurist. And that's why we have these shirts on. It says futurist on there, because we have to be thinking about the future all the time in everything that we do. But I want to share with you a quick quick thing here. So we have a podcast at the school called the Best Middle School Podcast. And I'd like to, if you guys know who this gentleman is, right? Dr. Lester Young, our Chancellor of the Regents. I like to call him our chief futurist, because a year ago, our kids themselves had, it's a real podcast. They did their research on him, on questions they wanted to ask, and I had totally forgotten about the first question in this. So let me just play a little bit for you.
Thank you for joining us again, Chancellor Young. My name is Nelson Newman, and I'm an 8th grader from Exploration and Discovery.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Joelle Rucker, and also an 8th grader here at Exploration and Discovery MS224, and welcome to the first episode of the Best Middle School Podcast.
So we'll go straight to the question.
And beyond.
Well, our first question we're going to be getting into today is, what are some challenges and some benefits of including AI into our current education system?
Well, there are several challenges. However, I think the benefits far outweigh the challenges. And number one, the most immediate benefit is that AI helps us with the timing of the instructional process. So by incorporating AI into education, we're able to take advantage of time. And if, you just said it, we spend some time right now. Somebody might say we wasted time. However, we spent time trying to get ready for this interview. There are probably opportunities within AI and the overall technology system where one day you will be able to conduct an interview and just flip a switch and you can cut out all of the background noise, right? You won't have to worry about closing the door or waiting for them to move on. You can just filter out the noise that you don't want to hear. That's the power of technology.
So, yes, sir. Five minutes. So, and guess what?
You can.
There's tech now that does that.
You actually can.
There's tech now that's AI enhanced. Have you heard about the earplugs?
Earplugs.
They translate for you. Okay.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
It's so the earplugs you put it in, you program what language, and in real time it will translate for you. Whatever, if it's Spanish or Urdu, whatever the language is. Okay, and that's AI enhanced. So so that's Dr. Lester Young. So okay. Second. There we go. Okay. So let's go past here. Like we said, there's a lot here, but the key was just to really open your eyes to what the possibilities are and what we should be paying attention to. So
give me one second. I know we're gonna wrap up fast, but I really wanted to share this because we spoke about it briefly.
Mike.
Oh, sorry.
Yo, he's mad loud in my hallways. I don't know what Mike whispered this morning.
All right, so I know we touched on this earlier, but I want to just real quickly explain this to you. So, Njoku spoke about a math lesson that I tried. It's over a year ago, and I said only risk is free. I'm a big risk taker, so it was a two-step equation class, but I used the app Perplexity at that time because the DOE blocked ChatGPT. So, which doesn't make sense. So it was a series of 5 Socratic questions that the students had. They had 5 two-step equation problems. So they're inputting these problems into Perplexity, and it gives them step-by-step what they're doing. Now the Socratic questions, they're using the Socratic questions to answer the steps that the AI gave to them. Thereafter, they were grouped, and they had different conversations. After the groupings and the conversation in another class, they now had to create their charts and present. I know I'm going a little bit fast, so probably it's a little bit much to process. However, the engagement that I got from those students doing that, I have never, ever, and I'm not exaggerating, I've never seen that before. And they ask every day, why can't we have this? Why can't we have this? Why can't we have this? Again, it's on us.
So as we wrap up, and this is for you to think about. Where do you stand now? And this is a process. But the crazy thing about this is we don't even know what iteration of AI is going to happen tomorrow. So in closing, the copy of the book, AI Enhanced Leadership, there are copies in the back for everyone. Actually, it's 25 copies, so it might not be enough for everyone, but if you don't get one, please scan my contact QR code and text me, email me, I'll make sure you get a copy. There's 25 copies and some other books back there. It's for you, my gift to you. And again, I'm telling you, this is work that we're both passionate about because we see it coming. If we don't embrace this soon and we don't actually do the work and get the right consultants and vendors or whoever in our buildings who are not just bringing us products, but helping us plan this out, we're gonna get lost, and we cannot afford to do so. And
To that,
again?
the Facebook, the thing.
Oh,
All right, so in closing, I am going to leave you with this poem that I came across in 1999, and this is where the quote comes from. Only who risk is free.
why is it not? Oh. I have no idea who's doing that.
That's AI to decide. Yeah.
Actually, you know what?
See, I changed.
There you go.
So,
Only who risk is free. The dilemma.
do you know the poem "Only
Who risk is free. Only who risk is free. The
Only
dilemma.
Who Risk is Free" dilemma? Can you recite the poem "Only Who Risks is Free," the dilemma?
Absolutely. Here it is. There are risks and costs to a plan of action, but they are far less than the long-range risks and costs of comfortable inaction. To laugh is to risk appearing the fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out to another is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk exposing your true self. To place your ideas and dreams before a crowd is to risk their loss. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To hope is to risk despair. To try is to risk failure. But risks must be taken, because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, and is nothing. He may avoid suffering and sorrow, but he simply cannot learn, feel, change, grow, love.
Yeah, there was another part. There are probably 2 more lines left to it, but that was the gist of it. But in essence, it's just saying that only who risk is free. Okay.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like to use the microphone because I never like to assume people's auditory levels. Just want to close out, offer both of our presenters some resonance, anything that stuck with you, impacted you, moved you, questioned you. There are 25 copies. Please know you guys are all going to get first. I told Aurelia and I, we can't get one, okay? It's the participants. So she was trying to run out of here and grab one. I told her, but, and if you can't, obviously you can purchase it. But anything that resonated with you in the audience that's got your mind thinking, that impacted you, even about themselves. This is rare to have 2 men of color talking about AI. And I say that because I go to conferences and it's typically a white person talking about AI, somebody actually probably from Europe. There are some folks who are doing this work. Dan Fitzpatrick, he's really well, he's like the AI educator. He's a good person to follow, but it's rare to see men of color in spaces talking about it, and they are very right. There are people doing this, moving it so quickly that they're leaving folks behind. So kudos to them on being at the forefront, at least here in the New York area.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna quickly get grabbed across the state to do various presentations. But I saw a hand up, and then we'll go back in.
Thank you, first of all, for presenting this is really valuable stuff. As I told you earlier, I'm a new convert to AI in the last 60 to 90 days, using it more often. But in terms of what you said, if you teach today as you did yesterday, you brought the kids for tomorrow.
Yep.
That definitely stuck with me, and that was a very powerful quote.
John Dewey.
John Dewey,
That's
yep,
right.
that's John Dewey.
Before AI.
Before it, way before AI.
I saw your hand up here.
I just want to say that both the presentation was truly inspiring, and being here from the first session to this session, and I'm not sure how you thought about closing out this session for this group of educators that were here, and what pressure there may have been on that, because we've heard so much good things. But I want to just let you know that truly, you couldn't have been stronger. And like this was amazing, and it actually wrapped everything up in a way. Because my journey throughout this process has been thinking about how I become and who I'm becoming. And you all have placed the seed of being a futurist for myself and for others, and looking at the system that we create moving forward. And that's what I think was truly it's reflective in the presentation and who you present yourselves to be here in this space. And I look forward, I'm excited to step out the doors after today. And I just think for helping to sort of coalesce everything that you've been doing through these, I call it 9 sessions actually. I count every session that we've had together as one. So thank you for closing out so well. Very inspirational. You are amazing. I think.
Thank you.
So your wife would know if you don't talk to her because you'll be on the laptop while she drives. You'll be playing on the car. Just kidding. Go ahead.
I have a question. What was the name of the man AI? You say Yogi?
Okay, so that's the AI on the platform. But I'll share the name of the platform with you, but that's the name of the AI. So it's a platform, but Yoki is the AI on the platform that you interact with.
So it's like Siri.
Yes, but this one is way better than Siri if you ask me. Yes. This one knows quantum physics.
So let me just try to explain it to you in a different way. ChatGPT is a big umbrella, right? And inside ChatGPT are these little channels that allow you to do certain things of an AI. So for example, Uche had this up there. There's one called Sora that allows you to do video clips and things, but it's within ChatGPT. So if somebody says I'm using Sora, it's not really they're using Sora. They have ChatGPT, and then underneath it there are these channels or different modules of AI products that exist within them. And that's kind of what he's mentioning here, is that Yogi is the underproduct of a larger product. So that's why the larger product, what was it?
Smart School.
Smart School. So if you use Smart Schools, you have access to that. So I just will tell you that Uche's point about it evolving, in a week from now, there'll be 7 new things out there. And people are going crazy, and people are packaging and telling you all kinds of stuff. You just gotta get in and play and explore and try. But I don't wanna stop residents, so I know other people have some other feedback, comments? Yes.
So thank you as educators and as fathers. My father would be thrilled. He was born way back when. He was excited about the Jetson era, and he constantly said just what you said. Keep playing with it, play with it. I'm like, Dad, I don't have time. I have to do lesson plans. Let's go to this meeting and all that. So basically, everything you all said resonated, and that personalized instruction, I always had that inside my heart. I've never said it to anybody because I was afraid where it could go. You know, because when you have, way back when CSIS came out in New York City, no one knew what that was. It was crazy, all that type of thing. But working with children, you realize they need something individualized. But when it feels like a dissertation working on a document as an IEP, you're like, how is that possible? Let me not say, but I know that it's going to lead us there because of the need of children. So many things, everything you all said, spot on. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other hands or questions? Before we close out, yes.
So I had to cross off everything that everybody else said that I had down. So first of all, thank you all for being here today, and you guys know we're definitely like unicorns. So very seldom do you see two men of color, two black men, I'm gonna say it, just in any space, being able to present, because folks are afraid of that. So I encourage you to be fearless and to continue to do that and change agents, because that's literally what you all are doing in your own way that is going to see, I see this being a very big way. Mention the IEP as a lifetime special educator. Oh my God, somebody else said it, because we should be individual. I appreciate that. When you said you got the call and it was a work school and you said I'll take it, that just says a lot about you, who you are, and what your mission is, and what you all are doing for our children.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lizette.
I just want to say that a couple of years ago, I went to a training on AI. It was full of superintendents, and it was a panel, and they were talking about how, you know, we had to think about how we can support our Black and brown students who are being accused of cheating, accused of using AI when they were using AI. It's a little bit of a tone of fear. So it's really refreshing. A couple of years, just 1 year later, I think it was last year, who knows, to see two leaders of color talking about something that has been seen to be reserved for people that don't look like us to talk about, or instead try to get us to think about how we should fear it and protect our kids. And it's nice to hear someone talk about how we can lift our students with AI and not just talk about protecting them, but how we're going to support them and propel them to be future, whatever that profession is for you. And so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I would say I'm 100% sure both of these gentlemen will make themselves available to your districts and communities. So that QR code is important. We'll send it out, but that QR code is important. If you scan it, I believe it takes you right to their contact, right?
Yeah.
And he's active on LinkedIn. Now we have to follow him as well. I did not know you were on LinkedIn, so we have to follow you, Barrington, as well. But I do have Uche, so we'll encourage you to do it. I saw another hand. Yeah.
Yes. You know, I'm like always about revolutionizing traditional education methods, and that always causes like some tension within the school community if someone doesn't want to move in that path. So I'm just thanking you because I don't feel alone. And in addition to acknowledging like mindfulness and carrying practices, if you look at a school classroom in the 1800s and you look at one now, we're still using the same seating within the classroom, you know, and if you look at other countries, they're using flexible seating, and we're just not changing. So I just want to thank you for the work that you're doing, because I know it's not easy, because I know there are resistors and people who don't want to move with what's going on, you know, and I thank you also in your presentation for making us get up and just being a part of the situation. The way you constructed your presentation was excellent. Also, I love the way you took Barrington, right?
Yes.
And you're exemplifying leadership skills by bringing them along with you. It's not just about you know, and that is wonderful. And thank you for highlighting and raising up someone who's within your school community and bringing them along the way, bringing us along the way.
Yeah.
On that note, Uche, any final comments before we let you go?
Yes. So it's funny because if you know this quote, you know where it's from. Any John Wick fans? But this is a quote tattooed on his back, and I think it's only one shot, maybe a few seconds. And the thing I love about it, it's Fortuna Duvat, and it means the fortune favors the bold. And we have to be bold. We have to be bold. This is scary, trust me. It's terrifying because as fast as technology is changing, we have to evolve with it as well. But however, nothing's going to change if we're not willing to be risk takers, if we're not willing to be bold. So that's the only thing I'm going to ask of you today that you take away from here is just be bold. Ask the questions, reach out, start the conversation with your colleagues, reach out to us, whoever, but we have to keep talking about this and also taking action. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, stick around for a little. So one last thing, I wanted to make sure that I tried to play like we were really done, but we weren't done. There's one person who wants to offer you residence that was a little bit of a setup. So I would like to open it up to that person.
My brother. So, you have always been a forward thinker. And I remember 4 years ago this summer when we first met at a diner down the street on 7th Avenue. And I was trying to make sure that I got a job. And you and I sat and we talked for hours about education. We talked about the problem with communities of color. And I knew then that I really wanted to work. And even though you were, or still are actually, 7 years my junior, I knew in you I found a mentor, right? I knew in you I found somebody I could learn from, somebody who would help me grow, and who could guide me in the areas in this field that keep me away from the pitfalls and keep me away from the political gaps that we often find ourselves falling into. Your presentation today was nothing short of that. You were generous in your information, as you've been generous throughout. You and the colleague were very professional in terms of the giving us exactly what we need to absorb AI based on where we are at. Like we always talk about meet kids where they're at. Right? And so your presentation today met each of us where we're at. We have people who rush to the back, we have people who rush to the front, and you had several of us that were kind of sort of fishing in the middle because we quite didn't know where we were. And you took the time to sort of navigate or help us navigate where we should be. And you've always been that way. I appreciate and I thank you for your humbleness, your humble leadership, the fact that you stay true to your values with young people, and that you recognize very early on that, you know, when it's time to move on, it's time to move on. And something that you said to me that I always remember, and I say to my people now, is I'm trying to find my successor. Right? Remember you said that to me. You said, I'm trying to find my successor, and I believe that person is you. And so I am a principal today because of you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Trying to make me cry?
Surprise, you AI can't cry, baby. Thank you both, gentlemen. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah.